is not the case. There are so many medications. Again, but community, and I love that even though we had to change venues, I love that the space and everyone who is in here, it's an intimate space, because moving forward, I believe going into 2025, we're going to need each other, right? So I want you all to turn to the person next to you and say, I need you. I need you. And I need you to thrive. One more time, say it again. Look at the other person. I need you. I need you to thrive. All right, he said, shut up. I got the faith people and the Christians in the room. And the reason why that is so important, because clearly we can see whether you are on social media or not. If you don't have people in your life to help you live life, maybe you will die a lonely death. Let me say that again. If you don't have people in your life, you don't need a bunch of people. I talked about it, right? You don't need 10, 20 friends. It's not high school. I'm too old and too grown. I don't even have time for 10 friends, okay?
Right.
But if you have just 4 to 5 people, or even 3, that you can count on, that you can call. Hey, I'm in a bind. Hey, my car broke down. Hey, can you just help me out until I can get my next check? We need each other. Whether you live in a gated community, whether you live in an apartment, you drive in a hoopty, you drive in a Benz, we all need each other. You black, you white, you 60, you 30, you 20, you need people in your life to survive. So in the minority community, I know how many of you have heard the saying, what happens in this house stays in this house? Don't talk my business. I don't want you to tell nobody my business. Well, how you going to heal and how you going to overcome anxiety and depression if only you is dealing with what you are dealing with?
Right.
At some point, you're going to have to talk to a therapist. At some point, as the beautiful poet she read earlier concerning her marriage, at some point, you're going to need to talk to somebody about your marriage and the way you're raising your children. At some point, you're going to need somebody to educate your children about sex because you weren't educated about sex. Okay? So that is the conversation that I want us moving forward with World, as we end World AIDS Week and the week of activity. I want us to get out of the space and place as minorities. Well, child, it ain't bothering me. That ain't my child. That ain't my husband. That ain't my grandmother. No. What happens to Miss Sylvia affects me. What happens to Miss Sylvia affects everybody. What happens to Kim? What happens to her? What happens to Ken? Everyone in this room. We have to move forward. If we're going to heal our community, we have to begin to think selflessly. We have to think about the person next to us, your neighbor. How many of you know your neighbors where you live?
Yes.
And I'm glad that she said yes, because believe it or not, I have met people and I have colleagues, they do not know their neighbors' names.
It is either a pill or an injection that people can get who are not living with HIV. So it keeps them safe from any encounters with HIV if they're having condomless sex or sharing needles.
Perfect. Does everyone know that, or this is the first time? Tell me, raise your hand if this is your first time hearing about PrEP. Okay, we have a few hands. This is why these events are so important, because there's something that we're all going to learn. So Ms. Rose, she is correct. Also with PrEP, it's no longer just Truvada that's on the market. What's the other new drug now that was just FDA approved? Say it again? Aptitude, and then also there's Descovy, right? That was also approved in 2019 for PrEP. So one of the advantages, the claim to fame, as we refer to it, go ahead.
What's the name of the one that's like, that supposed to treat like gonorrhea, fight against
Doxypep.
Yes.